It's a beautiful Monday here on Philadelphia Eagles Now, and coming up on today's show, thanks for rocking with us. The Birds signing a quarterback over the weekend. We have the latest on Justin Simmons. I have some thoughts there that I want to relate to all of the real ones. And lastly, why Nick Sirianni is excited about Saquon Barkley joining this team in free agency, and why I think Saquon can be to the Eagles what Christian McCaffrey has been to the San Francisco 49ers. We start off here with the Eagles' newest addition to this roster at the quarterback spot as Philadelphia on Saturday signed Will Grier. I went to West Palm Beach, Florida over the weekend, first time there. Beautiful city, a lot of money. Was out clubbing until 4 a.m. on Saturday night. I'm still feeling it here on this Monday, but I did a YouTube short on this the other day. Just have some more thoughts on that. Former third-round pick out of West Virginia, signing a one-year deal with the Eagles. Spent time on 5 different teams since entering the National Football League. He has not started a game since his rookie season. And I think why he's coming to Philadelphia here, he's reuniting with new offensive coordinator Kellen Moore, knows the offense, and he's reuniting with Moore for the third time in his career, a couple of Cowboys stints, and then last year with the Los Angeles Chargers. But also Will Grier is linking back up with new Eagles quarterbacks coach Doug Nussmeier. Here has been Grier's professional path up to this point. 2 years with the Panthers, 2019-2020, then 2 years with the Dallas Cowboys in 2021 and 2022. Bengals practice squad last year, New England Patriots practice squad and active roster in 2023 as well. And then he ended the 2023 campaign on that Chargers practice squad under Moore, as I mentioned, and now he makes his way to Philadelphia. Very limited sample size of what he's been able to do and accomplish and show. I think he's going to be a training camp body, a preseason quarterback who's going to be able to sling the rock. Only 2 starts. Again, has not started a game since his rookie season when Carolina wanted to see what he could bring to the table. 0-2, 0 touchdowns, 4 picks. Keep in mind, those teams were bad in Carolina. That organization has been bad for a long time. Only completed 53.8% of his passes for just 228 yards. And when I say that Will Grier is going to be a training camp body, maybe a practice squad guy for Philadelphia, I'm very confident in that, because Jalen Hurts is going to be the QB1, as we know, goes without saying. Kenny Pickett, QB2, I think he's going to have that role just because of what the Eagles gave up to acquire him and the starting experience that he has under his belt. I like the development and the future of Tanner McKee. I thought he was really impressive through the NFL preseason, but when you have a team of all these studs that has Super Bowl aspirations, can you have a backup quarterback who hasn't started a game? I think that's the Eagles thinking there. And then Will Grier as the QB4. Because this Eagles team is loaded and they're deep in other spots, I don't expect them to have 4 quarterbacks on this roster, but a practice squad guy is what Will Grier could be. And think about how these training camp practices go. You need multiple quarterbacks in order to throw passes to all of the wide receivers, the tight ends, the running backs that you have on that large roster, 90 men, before you cut the roster down to 53 players. And keep in mind, there aren't all of those cuts that happen up to the 53-man roster. The NFL has really limited that. And so you're going to have a large roster for much of the summer leading up to the regular season, so you're going to need a quarterback and a 4th quarterback to throw some footballs in Will Grier, and then at the end of preseason games, you can throw him in there without much risk. You do have to wonder that with this acquisition, are the Eagles content with not drafting a rookie quarterback? Sometimes they'll do this, quarterback factory under Howie Roseman, where they draft a quarterback late to just see what that quarterback can be. They literally did that last year with Tanner McKee. Or is Tanner McKee the option, and has he been impressive enough where the Eagles are like, well, hold on. We have one young quarterback who's going into year 2. We don't really need to draft a guy this year because we like what we saw from Tanner McKee. So the Birds signing a quarterback in Will Grier. That's story number 1. Still to come. Latest on Justin Simmons. A lot of thoughts there. and why Nick Sirianni is excited about Saquon Barkley and why I think he can have a Christian McCaffrey role on this Eagles offense here in 2024. First, today's show sponsored by Prize Picks. Are you looking to play daily fantasy sports? Do you want to indulge in DFS app, in a DFS app that is fantastic to use, but is also the largest independently run daily fantasy sports app in North America? And the best DFS app in North America? That's why you have to sign up with Prize Picks. Prize Picks also has the best deal that any DFS app has to offer. $100 deposit match at prizepicks.com/CLNS. How do you play, Chase? It's easy. You pick 2 or more players, you choose more or less on their projected stat lines, and you can win up to 25 times your money. What's cool about this time of the year, football's in the rear view, but you can combine sports to make game day so much more fun. For instance, and I love how Prize Picks gets creative with some of these more or less selections. Domantas Sabonis and Tyrese Maxey, 13.5 assists. Are you kidding me? Let's go more there. Philadelphia coming off a huge win on Sunday over the Clippers. Luka Doncic and Caitlin Clark, 2 bucket getters, more than 65.5 points. And then Bradley Beal, more than 6 assists. It's that easy, and it's easy to win big-time money. It's also easy to withdraw your winnings all within the Prize Picks app. Pick more, pick less. $100 deposit match, prizepicks.com/CLNS. As for the latest on Justin Simmons is still out there as a free agent, and the 4-time second-team All-Pro has not signed with the team yet. So what is going on with Justin Simmons, and is it still possible for Philadelphia to bring him in NFL free agency to pair him up alongside CJ Gardner-Johnson to make this safety position go from a weakness in 2023 to a strength in 2024? I think to answer that question as for why Justin Simmons has not inked the deal with the team across the NFL, I think his asking price is probably a little bit too high, and teams are waiting out to see what the safety market is. For instance, Xavier McKinney got $17 million per year. Philadelphia was interested, but not in that price tag. So they settled for still a very good player in Chauncey Gardner-Johnson for a fraction of the price. And other teams are waiting to see if that asking price from Simmons and his camp does go down. Because yes, he's turning 31 years old this year, but he's still an elite player in this league who this past year was a second-team All-Pro. And since entering the league in 2016, he leads the NFL in interceptions with 30 of them. From his standpoint, he's played on some bad Broncos teams. And for him, has an opportunity, if he signs with Philadelphia, to go to a team with Super Bowl aspirations that's gone all in free agency, and he can team back up with Vic Fangio, playing in a scheme that he's familiar with, in a scheme led by Fangio, who Justin Simmons played elite football under. Last year, Simmons was the 5th highest paid safety in the NFL. But Kevin Byard got $7.5 million from the Chicago Bears on that 2-year deal. Justin Simmons is the better player. So his price point is probably going to be higher than the Kevin Byard. Obviously, he's not going to get Xavier McKinney money, but he should be getting more than Byard, who is on the last few holes of his career on that back 9 and has shown some signs of decline, whereas Justin Simmons might not be elite like he once was, but he's still playing at a very, very good level. And if the Eagles can get Justin Simmons on, let's call it a 2-year deal worth $18 to $20 million, and you're giving him $9 million per year, $10 million per year, it's lower than him coming in as the 5th highest paid safety in the NFL in 2023. But don't you want an opportunity to chase a ring in a defensive system that you're familiar with, that you've excelled in? And if Justin Simmons is willing to take that deal, I think Howie Roseman should absolutely go all in. This defense was a joke in 2023. They become a lot better with the acquisition and the addition of Justin Simmons. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and Reed Blankenship are a solid safety tandem, even though Blankenship struggled toward the tail end of last year. But CJ Gardner-Johnson and Justin Simmons are not just a solid tandem, they are an elite tandem. Both have ball hawking skills. Both are very good players. Justin Simmons, still one of the best safeties in the NFL. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson will never be considered as one of the best, but him and Justin Simmons tied for the NFL interceptions lead back in 2022. And I get that Simmons turns 31 years old in December, and at some point, you have to find your long-term safety plan. Is Sidney Brown that? I don't think so. I like the physicality that he brings, but sometimes he gets a little bit too overly aggressive. But you're in the Super Bowl window right now, so I'm not really worried about the age if you can get him on that 2-year deal because that fits your timeline for trying to win a Super Bowl championship. With that, I ask you this. How much would you pay Justin Simmons per year? You're in the shoes of Howie Roseman. You let me know down in the comments section. $9-10 mil per year. I'm feeling that. Why Nick Sirianni is pumped up about Saquon Barkley and the Eagles' addition of him in NFL free agency. Here's what the Eagles head coach had to say. I'm really excited about Saquon and the things that he can do. You know, he's such a dynamic football player, both as a running back and also the things that he can do as a pass catcher. He's going to bring an element to our offense and to our team. As much as we see him, all the highlights that we see on the tape, from my understanding and all of our homework, he's a good leader and teammate as well. To be able to add that into our locker room, and not only the playmaking ability, but the person is also really important. And you can see why Nick Sirianni, as an offensive mind, is excited about the addition of Saquon Barkley. I truly feel that with how this Eagles roster is set up, how this team is equipped, and given that Saquon Barkley is still in his prime, the Eagles' addition of Saquon can be very similar to the Niners' addition of Christian McCaffrey, where you look at that Niners trade for CMC coming off a couple of injury-plagued seasons. A lot of people thought that was too much for the Niners to invest in a running back, given what they gave up and the average annual value of that salary. But this Saquon Barkley contract, if he plays at an elite level, is basically a 2-year deal, $13 million per. And the 49ers have used Christian McCaffrey in a way that the Panthers didn't, and we've seen what an elite player can do on an elite team, going from a bad team to an elite team. Saquon Barkley has been on some bad Giants teams behind some horrendous offensive lines. And as far as the Giants' utilization of Saquon Barkley, I don't think that they used him enough as a pass catcher out of the backfield and in the slot, which is what the Niners have done with McCaffrey. And early in his career, especially as a rookie, when Saquon took the league by storm, the Giants did not utilize Saquon Barkley enough in the red zone as an overall weapon. And sometimes I don't even think of Christian McCaffrey as a running back. And I don't focus in on the salary that he makes as a running back. I look at him as a diverse, multifaceted weapon. And that's what Saquon Barkley can be, because he has a lot of the same skills that Christian McCaffrey has. You look at his numbers on a bad team the last 4 years, and a lot of people like to say he hasn't been available all that much. He's been a pretty durable player in 3 straight years. 13 games played, 16 games played, and 14 games played. And I know that the production in 2022 was really good, but that Giants offensive line, despite them winning a playoff game on the road against Minnesota, then getting dump trucked by the Eagles in the divisional round, it was a good season for New York, but the offensive line was still bad, and Saquon still ran for 1,300 yards, 4.5 yards per carry, and 10 touchdowns. And then you look at some of the receiving numbers. It is a crime that Saquon Barkley, in 3 straight years, has had 41, 57, and 41 catches. I think that the Eagles should, and I think that the Eagles will, use Christian McCaffrey or use Saquon Barkley a lot more as an overall pass catcher, similar to how the 49ers have used Christian McCaffrey. Because McCaffrey, in 2 years with the Niners, and really it's a season and a half because they acquired him at the trade deadline, but 67 catches this past year for Christian McCaffrey on 83 targets. And then just with the Niners in 11 games, McCaffrey was able to reel in 52 catches. He had 85 total all of 2022. So a lot of this obviously hinges on Saquon Barkley staying healthy, but this Giants offensive line has been bad in pass protection. It's been bad in opening up holes for Saquon Barkley as a runner, and Saquon goes from literally one of the worst offensive lines in football to one of the best in the Philadelphia Eagles. Run block win percentage the last 2 years, according to ESPN. Giants in 2023, 31st in the NFL. Giants in 2022, 26th in the NFL. Those same 2 years, Philadelphia ranked number 1 and 2. And then run blocking, according to Pro Football Focus, the Giants in 3 consecutive seasons, 30th, 14th, and 21st. Philadelphia's been top 5. Number 3, number 3, number 5. And in watching the tape last year, I really think that Saquon still has that explosion. He has the getaway speed. He's still elusive. He's still the dynamic playmaker in his prime. And I think that he's destined for huge things within this Eagles offense. And Nick Sirianni obviously sees that as well. So how many total yards will Saquon have in 2024? McCaffrey had more than 2,000 all-purpose yards this past year. I think that Saquon can be like that this year for Philadelphia. Let me know, share your thoughts with us. As always, thank you for watching, and don't forget to hit that sub button.